I don't have like a big promise for you. I'm telling you to go to iPromise. iPromise.com, EYE promise.com. You tired of staring at screens all day? Do your eyes hurt? Are they red? Are they dry? Do you have headaches? Do your kids suffer these same symptoms? If so, and I know the answer is yes, you need iPromise.com. You need Screen Shield Pro. You need Screen Shield Teen. These products are unbelievable. What you're doing is protecting your eyes from the inside. These are supplements that protect your eyes. Think about it as a sunscreen for your eyes. That's what I Promise. That's what Screen Shield Pro and Screen Shield Teen is doing. And by the way, these are all natural vitamins, okay? They're formulated by optometrists. I Promise is a local company. They're founded and headquartered right here in St. Louis. It's time to protect your eyes. It's time to go to iPromise.com. That's EYE promise.com. Put in the promo code BT. You're going to get 50% off your order. You can't go wrong. Protect your eyes. Protect your kids' eyes. It's iPromise.com.
Michelle Smallman and the voice of the Cardinals, Dan McLaughlin. I'm Randy Carricker. Great to have you with us on 101 ESPN. We have a new beat writer for the Cardinals for The Athletic. It's Katie Wu, who joins us now on the Brown and Crouppen Celebrity Line on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. Katie, thanks so much for taking some time with us. Welcome to 101 ESPN and welcome to St. Louis and the Cardinal Beat. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on. I got to let you know I can barely hear you guys, but can. So if I sound a little delayed, I think there is just a little bit of delay here.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know, Katie. We're going to pump up our levels here a little bit, so hopefully you can hear us. But, Katie, we want to learn about you. Now that you're coming to St. Louis, give our listeners and your new readers some background on you.
Oh, man. Well, so much better. I can definitely hear you guys now.
Okay, good.
Well, I have been covering baseball for about 4 years now. I grew up in California, right in between Sacramento and San Francisco, followed the Giants A's pretty much my whole life. Went to Arizona State for 4 years, got my degree in sports journalism, and kind of have been all over the place since. I was most frequently covered the minor leagues for about 2 years for minorleaguebaseball.com. And, right before opening day, about halfway through spring training, I found out I was going to be joining The Athletic and taking over the Cardinals beat. And it has been such a mad rush, but in the best way since doing so. There's nothing like starting a beat 3 days before opening day and also trying to move across the country at the same time. But hey, that's life. And it's certainly been a journey so far.
And over the course of your following the Giants, especially the first half of the last decade, I'm sure you became quite familiar with the Cardinals and maybe as a Giants fan hated the Cardinals a little bit.
You know what? I remember going through, that was such a pivotal time in my childhood because I was, a teenager and this was so impactful. I watched these games all the time with my dad. I knew those Cardinals pretty well, just from nervous studying as a kid. I would go over their lineup and be like, this is who I need to watch out for. This is who we can't trust. So, yes, got to know them very frequently. And it was definitely, a fun time for me personally in that early part of the decade.
Well, Katie, I'm sure as you were getting up to speed, you had some observations about what you thought the Cardinals would be. So heading into the season, what did you expect out of them? And what are your observations after the first game?
Well, I knew coming in, obviously, Arenado at third base is the huge storyline. And I think that kind of solidified what is probably one of the best infields in the league. If there's one thing that I think that Cardinals fans can take comfort in, it's knowing that infield that's airtight, right? They're anchored by Goldie at the corner. Now they have Arenado at third base. What I was a little bit concerned about was the outfield, and I think that Cardinals fans kind of share that same sentiment. But, man, those outfielders proved me wrong yesterday. Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill, even Justin Williams. I know he didn't fare particularly well at the plate, but made a pivotal catch early in the first inning. Those three guys, I think, especially with Harrison Bader injured, are going to be so pertinent to this team's success early on. And, I wrote about this earlier this morning. These outfielders, these young guys, they're relatively unproven, but the Cardinals front office really, really believes in them. And they've been met with a lot of skepticism in that regard, I think. Not as a knock to any of these players, of course, but mainly because they are relatively unproven. They are relatively young. They are relatively inexperienced. And I thought they responded in the most emphatic way possible yesterday.
Katie Wu, the Cardinal beat writer for The Athletic, with us on 101 ESPN. And Katie, we know what The Athletic's mission is. They want to tell stories and they want to do things beyond the box score. You walk into a situation where we're still in the midst of a pandemic and your access to the players is on Zoom, basically. What are the biggest challenges that you're going to have in trying to tell these stories without that clubhouse access to the guys?
That's a great question, and definitely one that I've been asking myself pretty consistently. I think the biggest thing that will be tough is making these connections without getting a chance to really get to know these players in person and seeing them every day. I mean, I think just coming from a humanity standpoint, I'd be skeptical in trusting someone who I'm only seeing on designated days through a computer screen. I don't really get to know who they are besides that because, these press conferences that we do, they're not very intimate. Anyone can hop on, really. There's everything's recorded, so everyone's a little bit more hesitant to say something. They're really they think a little bit more than they would in a personal conversation. So I think that'll be a little bit difficult. I'm not traveling too much. I'm in Cincinnati right now, but until the pandemic and COVID kind of eases up a little bit, I won't be traveling too much. So that's another thing. But basically, what I've learned so far is if you ask good questions and if you listen, and you can really prove to the players that you work with and the coaches in the front office that you are here to understand. Because obviously, I'm coming into a brand new organization. I'm not going to know all the answers. But the only way to get those answers and to really understand what's going on is to keep asking questions. So that's what I'm going to do here.
So you've been in baseball for quite some time. When do you expect it? Have you heard, or is there any buzz around the game that writers and media would be allowed and have that access, whether it's in the clubhouse or down on the field or batting cage, whatever the case may be?
I believe it will likely be on a team-by-team basis, and a lot of it will go into depend on vaccinations. I mean, the Cardinals hit that 85% threshold, which is fantastic news on their vaccines. You'll probably see more and more people get vaccinated. At least I hope you do. I understand it's a personal choice, but that will have a huge play into when access can sort of come back. Again, team-by-team basis. I'm personally encouraged, and I'm hoping by the second half of the season we kind of get some sort of normalcy back. But again, as we have come to know quite often in this last year, everything will change pretty quickly. So just keeping my fingers crossed that everyone stays healthy. I know the Cardinals were hit really hard by COVID last year, and I would hate to see that happen again with any team. So hopefully everyone's following their protocols, getting their vaccinations, and we can get back to, again, some sort of a normal season coverage soon.
Katie Wu, a couple of things that you need to know when you get into St. Louis. There's this thing called toasted ravioli that's really good.
Oh, gosh.
Have you already heard this?
I've heard my Twitter followers have been so emphatic about toasted raviolis. I have no idea what it is. So I would love to know.
Okay, so Katie, it's a classic ravioli, except it's breaded and fried, and you're going to want to dunk it in some marinara sauce. Delicious. You'll love it.
Sounds amazing. Wow. Okay, great. I will. That's probably the first thing I do then.
Another thing called Emo's Pizza is St. Louis style pizza with Provel cheese. It's super thin crust, and it's an acquired taste. A lot of people not from St. Louis don't like it. So if you don't like it, that's fine. Just don't say that you don't like it.
Right. Correct. It's controversial.
Okay, great.
It's controversial. But then we do have a dessert delicacy that I've never heard anyone diss, and it's called gooey butter cake. So you're going to need to get some of that, Katie. Highly recommend it.
And you got to go to Ted Drew's.
Yes, and Ted Drew's.
Yeah.
Someone sent me the ingredients of the gooey butter cake on Twitter, and the first ingredient was sugar, so I'm sure that will be fantastic. That was a great way to pique my interest there.
Well, we'll all be at the home opener on Thursday, and we'll introduce ourselves. We just wanted to introduce ourselves on the phone, and you'll hear a lot of us, of course, during the season, but it's great to have you as a member of the St. Louis media family, and we're thrilled to have you as the beat writer for The Athletic with the Cardinals.
Thanks, both of you. I'm so excited, and I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person, and it should be a really fun, full season this year.
Definitely. Katie, thanks so much. Take care and have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
See you later. That's Katie Wu, who covers the Cardinals for The Athletic, and Dan or me is beside ourselves, one or the other.
Grab a 30-day free trial of Live by Live Plus, and you'll get unlimited skips, commercial-free music, and all of the podcasts and live streaming events you can handle. Visit livexlive.com/podcast1 to learn more and start your free trial.